on the book that the federal government holds. Whenever a white man goes on a mass shooting, he is tried locally, on the state level, and then federally. Controlled by anti-death penalty liberals, takes the rare step of applying the death penalty when somebody harms a member of a community that actually has power. And that is why we need to build power. So we need to break out of the mindset of if it was my grandma, if it was my daughter, if it was my niece. All of these people that died are our grandmas and nieces.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
They are our fault. Our strength from scratch. We are yeah. And I also one thing I will remark, the climate of fear in this country, where we have tons of people, 90% of the people honking support our message, this anti-terror ill people.
No, they are all mentally ill. They're anti-white. The only anti-whites that will even approach us are crazy people. They are lunatics. Well, how can you?
Well,
yeah, you can. You can.
Well, if you're opposing the anti-terrorism march, well, what do two negatives produce?
Yeah.
You're pro-terrorism.
Yeah.
You are aiding and abetting a terrorist state and system.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a fair fight here. We're talking about people that prey on our vulnerable. No more.
Right. Yeah.
They will not be vulnerable because there are some white.
We've had some locals come and say they appreciate what we're doing. We've had some detractors who are not insane, who have stayed back there to flash their cameras at us, and when invited by us to come closer and go ahead and film my face, our faces, and we can actually shows you that even the sane anti-whites, the people who have their faculties, don't want to argue with us. They're actually afraid of us. You actually literally have to be crazy to come and argue against our point. I mean, that speaks volumes. There have been some libtards, anarchists, whatever, over there with cameras thinking we will win any argument, we will win any verbal exchange that we have, and they will look like fools. So they're doing their phony, documenting, hey, whatever. Go ahead and document it. I want you to document me. I'm right here, and I'm not afraid to show my face, so there we are. They think that they're gonna run down by a terrorist. You're going to shame us? You should be ashamed. Yeah,
you should be ashamed.
Absolutely.
Anyone who condemns that, what we're doing out here, standing up for these people, standing up for the people of Waukesha. We have a lot of Wisconsin guys with us. We have guys, local guys, and the people of this town support. The people of this town are scared to speak up. The Republican GOP chair said it. He said that this was an anti-white attack. But then, a year later, when asked about it, he disavowed. Cowardice! Cowardice! You have no business being are run down in the street from behind at a Christmas parade by a BLM terrorist. Where's the media talking about the BLM terrorist motive of Darrell Brooks? They're not talking about it. They're talking about how he took his shirt off in court, how the judges are people of this town watching that footage, watching this mockery be made of their pain and their suffering and having no advocates. Well, they have advocates, the National Justice Party.
Yeah!
NJP! 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 NJP!
So we can just want to say
I'm gonna go through that thing one more time. So we have,
Yeah, more footage the better.
yeah. I'm gonna go through the handout.
One last time, I want to review the facts of this case. Did you know that Darrell Brooks has an extensive criminal history and is a registered sex offender? That Brooks, under the pseudonym Math Boy Fly, did you know that Darrell Brooks is a black supremacist and a staunch supporter of the anti-white criminal organization Black Lives Matter, sharing many of their violent extremist views? Did you know that a video for one of Brooks's anti-white rap SUV he used to perform an act of terrorism? Did you know that on social media, Brooks regularly posted messages of anti-white hate, which included fantasies of enslaving and committing racially motivated violence against white people? Did you a long list of similar crimes? They say it was a mistake. You bet it was a mistake. Say that to the victims of this town.
it wasn't a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake. Did you know that despite the claims of Waukesha police officials, Brooks was not fleeing a knife fight prior to the parade attack, and Brooks himself Christmas parade, he did so in a zigzag pattern to hit as many people as possible, and according to a witness, appeared, quote, calm and composed while doing so. The death penalty for this criminal. Did you know that despite the clear racial motivations behind the attack, Waukesha do your job! Do your job! What are the taxpayers of this town paying for? Do your job and charge the man with what he is guilty of, hate crimes.
He says he hates white people.
He says he's a terrorist.
He says he's a
He
terrorist.
says he hates white people.
What the hell more do you need?
Yeah. And he says he wasn't fleeing a knife attack. He said it.
The system is anti.
Daniel Thompson, who is black, did, after being promoted, was lead a BLM march in which he ordered his predominantly white police force to take a knee. Boo! Boo! Did you know that the National Justice Party and to demand federal hate crimes charges? That despite being the only political organization that has demanded real justice for the victims of this racially motivated terrorist attack, the National Justice Party was universally denounced by both the Democrat and Republican parties. They've got to go.
Yeah.
Just a few more things to the fore. Why is the police chief at Waukesha black? Do you see a lot of black people in this town? Why do their leaders not look like them? Now, if he's a great police officer, fine. But do we really believe that's why he was made the head of this police? Well, what are the downsides of an affirmative action hire like that? Two things. One, he is not doing his job stopping criminals.
No.
And two, he will make you take a knee for BLM.
Yes.
That's what happens when you have leaders that have on his ass and eat donuts. Yeah! Yeah! Who let the dogs out?
Seems like pits are on our side.
The pits support us. Pit lives matter. We need some drastic changes in this country. We're already do anything when people defend themselves. We saw this during the riots. But in this country, you have anti-civilizational elements that will have a dystopian technocratic system spying on everyone for having a tepid anti-abortion opinion, for calling out and at the same time, people are afraid to leave their homes in this country, afraid of being killed in a terrorist attack, in a robbery, raped like Eliza Fletcher by a man who just a few years before was arrested for a separate rape. Unite! We can change this illegitimate power structure.
Yeah. I'm gonna make one final statement. Okay, so I'm going to make one final statement. I'm going to reiterate the case against Darrell Brooks and against Judge Darrow and against the prosecution in this town. We have it's unquestionably Darrell Brooks rapping in front of the red SUV, which was his terrorist murder weapon, in which he says, "We start back knocking white people the fuck out. I want to hear it. The old white people too. Knock them the fuck out, period." Now, he murdered 5 elderly white people, along with a young boy, and he maimed showing you this tweet in the courtroom. Why not? Why is this clear-cut evidence of an intentional racial hate crime not being presented to the court and therefore not being presented to the public? Why are they covering up the prosecutors? The prosecutors are covering up for Darrell Brooks' racial motive. Now, I'm sure and it all just goes water under the bridge. Never have to talk about this unfortunate, messy incident ever again. But in fact, he is a racial terrorist murderer, and the evidence is right here, among many other things. But this is the most egregious statement in which he openly gave his intention to hurt elderly white people, who he then went on to murder. And it is unconscionable. People of Waukesha, of Wisconsin, and of the whole country. It is unconscionable. It is, in fact, criminal negligence, in my opinion. And Judge Jennifer Darrow is allowing Brooks to make a mockery of her court and a mockery of this town by engaging in antics in the courtroom, which she refuses to shut down. And not only that, to add further insult to behavior. Can you even imagine such a thing? The judge thanked a terrorist mass murderer for good behavior. Do you think this kind of court is actually going to achieve justice for the people? No, absolutely not. It's impossible. It's impossible. They are covering for Daryl Brooks. Murderer. That's the fact. We have the proof, and we're not going to let it go. And we will go after the DA rhetorically, and we will go after the judge rhetorically, so that people understand the truth, and they put pressure on their cops, on their judges, on their DAs to actually do their jobs.
Justice for Waukesha! 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 Justice for
Justice for Waukesha! Justice for Waukesha!
We'll be back in a little bit.
Guys, keep this.
Wait, I gotta take the live stream down. We'll be back, folks.